Hello, and welcome to this semester's final edition of Nichols Road News. I'm Rachel Eiler. Let's start with today's headlines. The town of Hempstead and Long Beach are building a dock for police and firefighters in order to be able to respond more quickly to emergencies in the Reynolds Channel. The new 70-foot pier is expected to improve response times by as much as 10 to 15 minutes. Michigan is the first Midwestern state to legalize recreational marijuana. However, it could take up to a year until the state starts licensing marijuana shops. It is now the 10th state to legalize recreational pot. UN Special Envoy Martin Griffiths has announced the start of peace talks to end the 4-year civil war in Yemen. Griffiths will be working with delegations from the Yemen government and the Houthi rebels. Now let's hear from this week's stories from anchors Danielle Tomlinson and Rosemary On.
When students travel home for winter break, some will wake up Christmas morning hoping that Santa Claus has brought them gifts. But it may not be the Santa Claus of their childhood. Danielle Tomlinson has this story on the evolution of Santa Claus. Santa Claus is more than 1,000 years old, according to National Geographic. But who is Santa today?
These days, you find that there's a lot of different nationalities of Santa. And it really doesn't matter, a female Santa. It doesn't matter because it's about Santa and what he represents, not necessarily Santa being a big jolly white guy all the time. Have you been good? Okay. You want to come sit for a picture?
We're not going to pressure them to believe in Santa, and actually I think the best part about it is that we will talk about Santa and kids will talk about Santa, but the best part about it is that eventually he'll kind of figure it out on his own, and he'll realize, this doesn't make sense, or this doesn't make sense, and he'll solve it on his own.
How are you?
The historically Caucasian male figure still dominates today's Santa industry. According to RealSantas.com, a booking agency for the holiday season, less than 3% of professional Santas have an ethnic background.
We only have one Santa in St. James, but if they want to, we will bring anybody in, any ethnic group, anybody that wants to play Santa, whatever culture they are.
How are you?
Ho, ho, ho!
Reporting for the Stony Brook News, I'm Danielle Tomlinson.
Merry Christmas!
From helping us keep up to date on breaking news to giving us a way to catch up with old friends, social media plays a major role in our everyday lives. Now, some researchers are using social media as a valuable tool in their work. Nicholas has the story.
Dr. Jason Jones is the lead author of a recent study which set out to gauge the true impact of a poor night's sleep using Twitter and the NBA.
We wanted some measure of day-to-day performance that was very good, and some set of people who tweeted a lot, and that just happened to be athletes. Athletes are very active on Twitter, and there's an entire section of the newspaper that keeps track of what they're doing every day.
The study concluded that players who tweeted late at night before a game saw a noticeable decrease in production, especially on the road. Jones believes that most people, including himself, know all too well the effects of a poor night's sleep.
Most people don't get 7 hours of sleep, which is what a doctor would recommend that you get. So we're all walking around bleary-eyed and not at our best. For me, it's because I'm just trying to fit too much into the day.
In the past, Dr. Jones worked with Facebook to examine the effect social media can have on voting tendencies. Now, he's combing through Twitter bios to examine political polarization in the United States.
What do you call yourself? And there's no constraint. Nobody's asking you to say something about your politics. You're choosing to do that, and at least as a general trend, people are including politics more and editing their previous self-description to use politics more.
Jones sees social media as a means of evaluating people's behaviors and trying to understand their inner thoughts, since, as he said plainly, reading minds is not yet on the table. For Nichols Road News, for the final time, I'm Nicholas Donatic.
When you think about going to college, you probably think of long hours, tons of homework, and lots of stress. But there is a place where none of those daily anxieties occur. At Gingerbread University, the most stressful thing is picking which color M&M to use next. Here is Kira Dennehy with the story.
Gingerbread University was opened in 1999 by a man named Frederick Terry, aka Gingerbread Fred. Terry was a professor of business for 15 years and segued into becoming a professor of hospitality management. One day, after the need for a final exam in one of his advanced culinary classes, Terry began sponsoring student-run gingerbread decorating workshops for the community. This evolved into what is known today as Gingerbread University.
I was teaching at the time a course in culinary arts at Nassau Community College, and for the final exam, I had students go out and do gingerbread houses for underprivileged and nursing homes and so on. And it became very, very well known from that, because the New York Times did a piece on it and inundated us. So that's how it all started.
Upon arrival and purchase of a gingerbread house, you will be provided with a variety of candy and icing. A reservation is suggested because this is their busiest month of the year. Although the popularity of Gingerbread University has exploded over the years, Terry did not begin this in hopes of making it a big business. And although he does have business models made up in case they do ever want to expand, he likes the simpleness of having a place where families can do something traditional together.
This was designed primarily for families. And it's not a business that I tried to scale into something huge, even though we have other people that would like to put them in cities, and we've developed a business program so that they could do that. It really is meant to be a one-to-one family, grandma, parent, child thing that is really totally different than the normal interactive experience that parents and children now have that are electronic based, basically.
Although gingerbread houses are associated with the holiday season, Gingerbread University is open all year long and change their decorating themes based on the season.
We do sharks and whales, beach balls, dolphins, things like that.
These are all handmade.
For Nichols Road News, I'm Kira Dennehy. Happy holidays, Seawolves.
For half of the 30 million Americans who have diabetes, nerve damage to lower limbs, especially toes and feet, can be a life-altering condition. Diabetic Long Islanders can turn to Phil Sestino to dramatically improve their quality of life. Nicolas Panisi reports from Port Jefferson.
For Josephine DiCrescenzo, a 71-year-old type 2 diabetic, proper foot care is a priority.
It can cause lots of problems, such as losing toes and limbs, which had happened to my mother. I have seen it.
All right, let's take your socks off, Josephine. Let's see what's going on here.
Diabetics with Medicare as their primary insurance are entitled to 1 pair of diabetic footwear and 3 pairs of custom inserts each year. Medicare covers 80% of the cost.
If it wasn't for the Medicare, I wouldn't have been able to afford this.
The number of diagnosed cases of diabetes in the United States is 15 times what it was 60 years ago.
The diabetic Medicare program has significantly increased in my practice over the course of the last 15 years.
When diabetics get foot injuries, they often go unnoticed. Due to poor blood circulation to the area, these infections are harder to heal.
There are circulatory issues that are associated with the disease, and as a result, there can be patients that are more prone to ulceration.
The Diabetic Shoe Program and greater awareness of the issue have contributed to the 50% decline in diabetes-related amputations over the last 2 decades.
As a result of getting patients into better footwear with the proper inserts, there has been a significant decrease in the amount of amputations that are being performed on a yearly basis.
When people previously thought about what a diabetic shoe would look like, they thought of a shoe like this. But now, in more modern times, you're able to get shoes as trendy as this one. For Nicolls Road News, my name is Nicolls Panisi.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
For most of the year, Matt Marple works alone, but come every December, his Christmas tree farm is bustling with people. I was able to get a first-hand look this past week. Matt Marple is a seasoned farmer who helps families pick out the perfect Christmas tree to take home for the holidays.
I came here in 1998. My wife and I bought up half the farm about 20 years ago. We operate a choose and cut Christmas tree farm on 15 acres out here in Manorville, where families will come out, usually on the weekends, our busy time. They'll come out to the sheds and we'll hand them a saw. They'll go out into the fields and they'll cut their tree.
To secure the Christmas trees for easy transport, Marple nets each of the selected trees. He also provides assistance with loading and tying the trees.
I buy them in as 2-year seedlings. They're about 6 to 10 inches tall, and then we'll put them in 2-gallon pots for about 2 to 3 years. Once they get up to a certain height, we know in the pots that they have to come out in the fields or else they get too bunched up. You want good air circulation around them to keep them healthy.
Once the trees are out on the field, they still have years to go before they are ready for harvest.
The smaller trees are only about 5, maybe 6 years old, so they'll stay out in the fields here for about another 5 or 6 years at least until they're mature enough to get cut. So about a 12-year process to get a 7-foot tree.
While some people opt for artificial Christmas trees, Marple believes natural trees are more environmentally sound.
I think the plastic trees are a lot more harmful to the environment just because people get maybe 10 years out of them, then they throw them in the trash, and they sit in the landfills for hundreds of years. A fresh cut tree like this, you use it, you can either donate it to help build up sand dunes, the towns will chip them up. It's all completely biodegradable. Whatever tree we do cut down, we just replant it right away. So there's a constant turnaround of trees. And also a little fun fact is each acre produces about as much oxygen for 18 people per year.
For Nicolls Road News, I'm Rosemary Ann.
Kat Ovejas never has to worry about a place to stay during vacation. The 225 square foot converted school bus is all her family needs. Reporter Jim Lowe has the story.
My name's Kat Ovejas, and this is apartment 84. It is a converted school bus, otherwise known as a schoolie. And what motivated me to do this project is essentially doing something outside of the box, but also being inspired by a couple of things. I'm fascinated with businesses on wheels. I'm fascinated with tiny homes. I'm fascinated with design. And all of those passions are all in one with something like this. So this is fun for me. Doing a transformation or a redesign by seasons is also fun. You can do it without spending a lot of money. Some of these things are pieces that I've made or projects that I've just put together on my own, or just inexpensive things, and then it comes together very, very, this is a secret. This right here, this is a tablecloth. I changed this. This is not what this couch usually looks like. I have a matching gifts that are wrapped in the same pattern, which is the buffalo check. I like an open layout. I also like something that feels comfortable. I wanted people to come into the bus and almost forget that they were in a bus. And I think I've accomplished that because most people that do come in will say to me, I don't even know that I'm in a bus after being here for a few minutes. And that's the feeling that I wanted. So that was the design that I was going for.
That's all we have for Nicolls Road News. Join us next semester as we report for the Stony Brook News, because we're signing off for now. Happy holidays, everyone!